Now we speak about the last expedition of the Prophet ﷺ to Tabuk. When he returned from Hunain after making Umrah, he reached Medina. There was growing rumors in the city that Heraclius had advanced and he wants to attack Medina. He has prepared a very big army to attack Yathrib. It was also said that Roman army had already marched to the south and had mustered the Arab allies with him as well. The reports were not all true. It was more rumor than true in themselves. Anyhow, the Prophet ﷺ reported, when he knew, he asked his followers to be ready. And this was the first expedition where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the name, where we are going. Earlier he always kept secret as far as possible, and then when he marched, then he told people which direction we are moving. But here he told people in the beginning that we are going to Tabuk. Heraclius, when he learned that Muslims are coming, he proposed to his general that make treaty with him and surrender some provinces of Syria, surrender some provinces of Syria to him. There is no need to fight, why should we do? But his generals of course did not agree. When he made journey home, he looked back to the south and said, O land of Syria, for the last time I bid you farewell. He knew that now at any time it will be taken. He was had more insight, had more vision than other people in his army. And of course the Byzantines were very much worried by the success of army of Islam, and they decided to crush this power, and that is how they prepared. The Prophet also likewise, he was certain that Allah will open up Syria for him. So he mobilized his people. He mentioned, as I said, he mentioned it. He gathered 30,000. Now one thing you see, I mean in the Muta, I don't know, I made mistake, mentioned 30,000. There were only 3,000 against 200,000. Okay, 3,000. Okay. He announced to the people, and they came. Even the ones who did not have enough materials to join the army, they came and asked Prophet ﷺ. The Quran mentioned this in Surah number 9, that these people came, and when they didn't get help from you, they returned while their eyes were full of tears. Anyhow, he was able to gather 30,000 people. Also, this was the time of harvest, and it was very hot, and there was shortage of food, and it was this season it was drought as well. Despite all these hardships, the Muslim faithful, they joined the Prophet ﷺ and decided to go. The hypocrites, of course, are those people who were not interested in going. They came and made all kind of excuses. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say anything. He accepted their excuse and then he left. There were 3 sincere Muslims who also were left behind. They did not come to make excuse, but you know, they just delayed. When they realized it was too late, the army had gone. One of them, Ka'b ibn Malik, told the story which is reported in Bukhari's book. He said that I had no excuse, nothing. I thought I will go today to the market, buy the equipment and join the army. And then the following day I did the same, the third day, until it was too late. And then when the army has gone out, I found myself among those people who were accused of being insincere, hypocrites. So I felt very bad. But anyhow, they were only 3 people whom Allah has mentioned in the Quran, but Allah does not mention anyone by the name, but He mentioned because we will come to the story in full as Ka'b related. Because of this hardship, the lack of materials, lack of resources, the army was called Jayshul Usra. The army was given the name Jayshul Usra, the army of distress or army of need. I mean, because they couldn't find all that they needed. When Prophet ﷺ approached Tabuk, and he said to his people that tomorrow inshallah we are going to a spring. Anyone who reaches there before me should not touch the water, should not use water. Two men went ahead of him, and when they reached, they started drinking. When the others came, they found that the water has been reduced. There is not much water for the army. So the Prophet asked, who came first? And they were invited, and they were asked, did you drink from it after my warning? They said yes. The Prophet rebuked them very badly, and then he took the remaining water and washed his face and his hand, and the Sahaba is saying that with a sound of thunder the water gushed out, and it continued flowing until all the members of army, all the soldiers, every soldier fulfilled his need. So that was another, you can say, that kind of miracle or divine help to the Prophet ﷺ, that a small quantity of water and it gushed forth and fulfilled the need of all of them. The Prophet said to Sa'd ibn Mu'az that if you live long, you will see this place as a vale of gardens. These are the dry places, but the Prophet said that if you live, one day this place will be a vale of garden, and it so happened. It was as the Prophet ﷺ had said. The Muslim army reached Tabuk, and they camped. The messenger spoke to the followers, encouraged them to fight, because remember, there was munafiqeen, they had spread rumor, and they said that nobody could stand in front of Roman army, civilized people, disciplined army. Anyhow, when Byzantine knew about the arrival of Muslim forces, their allies were so terrified, the Arabs, so terrified that they did not come to their help. They gave Muslim army a good credit, which spread throughout, their reputation is spread throughout Arabia. Now they ran away without fighting. They were so much terrified that they did not come to face the army, and it of course it established the reputation of Muslim army and their terror in the hearts of their enemies. The Prophet met the people of Aliyah, Yohanna ibn Rauba. He met some Arab tribes, Arab chiefs. He met some Arab tribes, Aliyah and man called Yohanna ibn Rauba, and they agreed to pay jizya, to pay tax to the Prophet ﷺ. They just surrendered. The Prophet gave each of them a letter of safety and security as long as they remained faithful to the treaty, to the pact. Their ship, their caravan at land, and everything will be protected.
Just for clarification, how many years was this before his death?
It is 1 year, 1.5 years, something like that. It is year 9. The expedition of Tabuk took place in the year 9 after Hijrah, right? And that was last expedition, as I said, after the conquest of Makkah. He said that anyone who contravened the terms of agreement, then he had no safety no guarantee of protection from Muslims. The messenger dispatched Khalid ibn al-Walid at the head of 4,050 horsemen to Uqaydar, the chief of Dumatul Jandal, and told him that, look, when you go, you will find him hunting. So Khalid, of course, approached his palace, and he saw that the wild animals are rubbing their mouth with the gate of his palace. Anyhow, Khalid managed to capture him. He captured the chief and brought him to the Prophet ﷺ, and Prophet ﷺ, he made an agreement with Uqaydir, the chief of Dumatul Jandal, to pay 2,000 camel, 800 heads of cattle, 400 coats of armor, and 400 lances. This was kind of contribution from that person to the Muslims in order to be safe and in order to reconcile. He was also charged with collection of tribute from other people, from Duma, from Aliya, and from Taima. So he was given a sort of honor that you are chief, you are to collect the payment from there and pass it to Medina. Now nothing happens. No fighting was done, and Muslim army safely returned to Medina. At a very narrow pass above on a hill, under which was valleys very deep, 12 hypocrites, they plotted to push the Prophet ﷺ down and then kill him and get rid of him forever. Only two companions were with the Prophet ﷺ, Ammar ibn Yasir and Huzaifa ibn Yaman. So when Prophet ﷺ heard some noise behind him, he asked them to find out what is going on. Huzaifa went, and he found that there are some people on horses covering their faces. So he took something and hit the face of the animals, and the animal turned and they run away. They were never known who were they. But anyhow, later nobody came to confess that he was the one. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he asked, he suspected some, they swear by God that they were not the people who did it. Anyhow, the expedition of Tabuk has far-reaching consequences, for good consequences for Muslim, and it set its fear and terror on all the people in Arabian Peninsula. Everybody was convinced that the power of Islam was paramount, and it is beyond any confrontation, beyond any defeat by any force. From now on, the hypocrites were exposed and now shown no leniency towards them. No leniency was shown towards them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered his messenger not to pray over their deaths, not to visit their graves, and no forgiveness is to be given to them. Now we come back to those three people who were left behind. Ka'b ibn Malik later on related the story. He said that there was no excuse for him to remain behind, but it so happened, relaxation, laziness, and he could not buy the material and could not join the army. Even when army left, he said, I can catch them up if I leave today, but it didn't happen. Now he said that when the other people who were old, they were Murara ibn Rabi' and Hilal ibn Umayyah. They were old people, so they sat in their house. They were not going outside to meet people, but Ka'b ibn Malik was a young man, not very young, but of course healthy. He used to go out, and then he realized that there is not a sincere Muslim in the town. He found himself among those people who were accused of hypocrisy, the ones who made excuse and did not join the army. Anyhow, when the Prophet ﷺ, he reported that Prophet ﷺ asked people, where is Ka'b? He did not say anything bad. Some people accused him being arrogant and proud, and that is why he didn't join the army. But another person defended Ka'b, said, no, he was not like that. Something must have happened. Something was there which barred him from coming. When Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, all those people who remained behind, they went and mentioned their excuses. It was this, my mother was sick, my farm was under attack, and this and that, all kind of false excuses. The Prophet ﷺ just smiled and said nothing, accepted anything they said. Ka'b ibn Malik came, and these people came and said that we had no excuse. We made a mistake. We did not join army by our own will. So the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, Allah will decide about you. So he ordered the community to boycott them. Now nobody is talking to them, nobody is speaking to them. Even when they greet someone, he does not reply the greeting, he does not answer the greeting. So it was very bad. Then to those two people, of course, they are sitting in their house, they didn't feel much, but Ka'b ibn Malik was very much disturbed. He loved his cousin too much that they were good friend, very intimate friend. He jumped his wall fence and went to see his cousin and greeted him and said that, you know how much I love you, you don't answer. He said, well, I can't do anything, the Prophet has ordered us not to speak to you, not to have anything to do with you, finish. Now after a few days, some time, the order of the Prophet ﷺ came to them to keep away from their wives. And Ka'b asked, what do you mean? Should we divorce them? He said, no, but you do not approach them, finish. One of the people, the other two, one of them was very fragile and he needed help of his wife. His wife went to the Prophet ﷺ and pleaded that I have to be with him, otherwise he will be harmed. The Prophet said, okay, you can stay with him. Now Ka'b ibn Malik again going to the market, nobody speaks, going here and there, no answer, nothing. He goes to the mosque, and while in the mosque he noted that the Prophet ﷺ looking at him, but when he finished the prayer, he found that the Prophet ﷺ is not attending him or not interested in him, finish, that's all. So he felt very bad. Quran has described وعلى الثلاثة الذين خلفوا حتى إذا ضاقت عليهم الأرض بما رحبت وضاقت عليهم أنفسهم, that Allah also turned and to these three people, accepted their repentance, the one who were left behind, and they found that the land, the earth has been tightened around them and their own soul has been so tight, and they believed then there is no refuge but to Allah. So in this way Ka'b lived, and then he said that the most serious test came when he received a letter from Roman Empire, from the governor of that land, asking him to join his land, to join his country, to go to Rome. He said that we learned that your companion, your chief has deserted you and has humiliated you. You are a man of dignity, a man of respect, a man of honor. You should not have been treated like that. So we invite you, come to us, you will get all that honor, respect and status which you enjoyed earlier. Ka'b said that this is the biggest test of my faith. He took the letter and threw it in fire. After 50 days, Allah revealed those verses in which their repentance were accepted, they were forgiven. So a man, Ka'b considered himself very wealthy. A man went to the mountain and he shouted from there, Abshir ya Ka'b, Ka'b, be joyful, rejoice because Allah has shown mercy on you. And then another person rushed to the house of Ka'b, but the man who shouted from the mountain, his voice sent earlier. So when he came, Ka'b gave his robe to him and he didn't have another robe. Look, This is what wealth at the time meant. Now we have our cupboard full of all kind of garment. He had only that thing on his body, so he gave it to the man and remained without clothes. And then he borrowed some clothes from the neighbor and went to the mosque, where the Prophet ﷺ gave him this good tidings, and a man stood up to meet him, whom Ka'b remembered throughout his life. In this way their problem was over. Now until now Saqif has not surrendered. And as we have seen that Prophet ﷺ sent a message to Malik ibn Auf al-Nasri, who was the chief of those people, chief of the whole Hawazin, including Saqif, and then asked him to join him. When he comes, he will be given 100 camel, and his family which were captured by the Prophet ﷺ, all will be returned to him. Malik ibn Auf came and joined the Prophet ﷺ, and he was given command to a big contingent of Muslim army to go around Taif and then besiege him. He did. Now the people inside, they were very arrogant. They didn't want to surrender, but they realized that there is no way to survive, to live like that. There is no escape. We have to accept the practicality, the reality of life, and surrender to the Prophet. So they sent a delegation to Medina with very notable or big people who came there and surrendered to the Prophet ﷺ. They asked for a document for the safety of their life and cattle. When they were inside before, they realized that even they cannot come out of their fortress. They cannot release their cattle to go outside for pasture, because it will be taken. And it was announced to them that anyone who has been captured, unless he accepts Islam, he will be killed. So this life became very tight for them, and they had to come to Medina. The delegation came. The Prophet ﷺ received them very honorably. A tent was pitched up near the mosque, and they were accommodated there. And then the Prophet ﷺ told them to become Muslim and go to their houses and be relaxed. They made some request which the Prophet ﷺ did not accept. For example, they were saying that, well, don't burn adultery, and give us permission for drinking wine, and engage in the transaction of usury. He said, no, nothing of this type is now going to happen. You are to be full Muslim, dedicated to the teaching of Islam and following all those commandments which Allah and His Messenger are giving to you. They made another request. They said that our God, Allah, goddess really, it was a female. They said that, please give us permission to keep it for 3 years. I would say, what you are talking about? Nothing. No, you are not going to keep any idol in your area. They say, okay, for 2 years. The Prophet said, no, 1 year, no, few months, nothing. You have to destroy now. And anyone who has got any idol image in the house has to destroy immediately. They have to confess oneness of Allah and accept Islam with full freedom, full-heartedly. Then they said that prayer is going to be too much for us. I mean, we don't know we will be able to do it. He said that, so they wanted some concession. He said that there is no good in a religion which does not have canonical prayer. So nothing was given, no concession was given to them. Then they said that, okay, we are not able to destroy our goddess Allah by our own hands. Prophet said, no matter, no problem. He sent a Mughira bin Shu'bah, who was also from Saqif, to go and destroy that. Now in this way the whole situation was brought under control and Saqif became Muslim. After that the Prophet ﷺ announced that he is going to perform pilgrimage. Remember, this is the only pilgrimage which he made. In that year, year 9, he sent Abu Bakr to do pilgrimage and to announce certain rules and regulations. Abu Bakr proceeded as the head of the pilgrims. He took many people joined him, and then after that surah number 9, the beginning of surah number 9 was revealed, where Allah declared his freedom and his messenger's freedom from all pagans, from all polytheists. So he sent Ali after Abu Bakr to join him and to announce. When Ali reached Abu Bakr asked him that, have you come as a leader? Are you going to take charge of the pilgrims, or I continue? He said, no, I have come just as a member of your group, and I am going to announce this is what the Prophet ﷺ said to me. So when Ali reached, he announces the following declaration. From this year, no polytheist, no mushrik will be allowed to come to Kaaba and make tawaf. Nobody will be allowed to make tawaf naked. All the practices of Jahiliyyah are to be abandoned. Nothing of those practices will be seen later. And then the people mushrikeen have a respite of 4 months. If 4 months passes and they did not accept Islam, then they have to leave the land, leave the city, leave the area, or they will be killed. The people who have any kind of pact with Muslims, they will remain until the period of the pact. When pact is over, the period is over, they also have this option, either leave or be Muslim. So anyhow, Ali announced, and Abu Bakr cleared the Kaaba from any other thing which remained after the conquest of Makkah. The Prophet ﷺ has cleared Kaaba from all the idols, from all those images. But now nothing remained. It was made pure. This was a very wise action from the Prophet. Before he goes for Hajj, Kaaba should be completely clean and pure, and nothing of the past should remain there. Now then he marched. The news was sent to all around, and large number of people, pilgrim from different part of the land, they came to join the Prophet ﷺ. The number reached over 30,000. Now some people today say there were 124,000. Rubbish. That big number didn't exist at the time. But anyhow, over 30,000 is a huge number in Arabia of that time. Over 30,000 people came to join the Prophet ﷺ, and when he arrived at Zul Hulayfa, he performed Asr prayer and he spent the night there, and then following day, before Zohr, he took bath. Aisha scented his clothes and he put them on. Even you can see the parts of scent in his hair and his beard. He didn't wash them. He just went ahead with those things remaining. And then he announced, after Zohar, he announced, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik. He made the intention and he started his procedure for Hajj. He proceeded to Makkah, spent the night at the Tuwa, and performing Fajr prayer, he took bath and entered Makkah. It was Sunday, the 4th of Zil Hijjah, when the Prophet ﷺ entered. And it took his journey from Medina to Makkah took 8 days, which is an average period for that time, not today. I mean, it is just 1 hour by airplane and 6 or 4 hours by car and bus. So it took 8 days for him to reach from Medina to Makkah in average period, and then he went to Kaaba made his tawaf, then went between Safa and Marwa. But since he had Qiran type of Hajj, now this is a disputable matter. First, remember, pilgrimage is of three types. One is called Ifrad, where a pilgrim makes intention of performing Hajj only without Umrah. So that is one. The second one is called Tamattu, where a person makes an intention and puts the ihram for Umrah. And then when he performs Umrah, he comes out of his ihram, and then on 8th Zil-Hijjah, he puts another ihram for Hajj. So there is a gap between Umrah and Hajj, and that is why it is called Tamattu, because after completing ihram, the man is allowed to do all that he was doing before that. Now the third one is Qiran, where a person makes intention for Umrah and Hajj together. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? Whether he performed Tamattu or he performed Qiran, majority of scholars say that he performed Qiran. So if he did Qiran, he did not open his ihram, he did not come out of ihram, and he moved to Mina on 8th of Zul-Hijjah. He stayed there until 9th of Zul-Hijjah and performed Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha and Fajr in Mina. Then when the sun rose up on 9th, he proceeded to Arafat. A tent already was built for him, so he went and he stayed there. And when the sun set, he made dua for himself, for his community, for his family, for every Muslim. And then when sun set, he proceeded to Muzdalifah, where in Arafat, he performed Zohar and Asr with one azan, two iqama, and he performed in shortened form, two rakah each. Now this sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ has really been corrupted by some stupid and selfish ulama. They go for Hajj and in Arafat they do 4 rakah. Why? The Prophet did only 2 and 2. What you are doing? They say, oh, this and that. I mean, there is no clear answer. You are leaving the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and resorting to the work of, to the statement of Aisha, sometimes to the action of Usman, that he did it. When Usman was asked by the people, he said that, well, I got married in Makkah, so I became the Imam of Makkah, so I don't shorten my prayer. But what the Prophet did was 2 and 2. So I wonder about these people who go spend their money, go for Hajj, and they violate the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in that holy place. So the Prophet did 2 and 2 for Asr and Zohar together, combined and set together. These people, the one who do 4, they separate as well. They do Zohar in its time and then do Asr in its time. And this is complete challenge to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Then anyhow Prophet ﷺ moved to Muzdalifah. There he did Maghrib and Isha in the same way. Isha shortened, because Maghrib is not to be shortened at any time, and together with one azan and 2 iqama. And then after that nothing, no nafil, no sunnah was done, neither in Arafat nor in Muzdalifah, between these 2 prayers or after or before them. And then he rested there. This is what is the sunnah, that in Muzdalifah you just rest. And remember another thing, that neither in Arafat nor in Muzdalifah, no ibadah, no prayer, nothing is to be done. Just stay silently, remember Allah, get involved in the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask him for anything you want. Allah is there, he is very close to you in those places. So nothing of this ritual type of things is to be done, like prayer, and well, you can read the Quran, recite, this is also zikr. Remember Allah and repeat all those things which the Prophet has recommended from the type of zikr. Get involved. Don't start gossiping, don't start backbiting, don't start chatting with other people about worldly matters. No, you focus your attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Hajj is meant. In Hajj, in reality, In Hajj, actually we don't find any particular thing which resembles ibadah. The ibadah there is to remember Allah, to focus your attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remember Him, realize His power, realize the day of judgment, and ask forgiveness for your sin from Almighty. That is what a person has to do, nothing more. So it is a kind of concentration, focusing the attention to Allah, and that is what Hajj is unique among all other ibadah. You inside the prayer a person moves up and down, and his movements of course shows. But again, before Arafat and Muzdalifah, in Tawaf, Tawaf is also a unique act of worship and concentration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person goes 7 rounds around the Kaaba. Of course, Allah does not live in that building. He has made it a symbol. He goes and he repeats all those words which praise Allah, which glorify Him, and he remembers that he is in the presence of Allah's holy house, holy sanctuary, and then going because He has ordered them to do it. It's very important. So there is nothing. Now you go to Makkah to make tawaf, you get booklets giving the dua of first round, the dua of second round. All these are rubbish. They have no foundation from the Prophet ﷺ. No sunnah is there to repeat those words. You just say anything you consider to be good, and you consider it glorifying Allah, admitting His oneness, and asking forgiveness from Him. Only one thing Prophet did, he recommended that when you pass from the Rukn Yamani to Black Stone, to Hajjul Aswad, you say Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina azaban nar. Finish. That is the only thing recommended. Throughout this round, of course, you are not going to speak, to chat to your friend, to your wife, to your children. No. Keep repeating La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. These kind of simple things you repeat. Send durood, send blessing to the Prophet ﷺ. That also will do. Read certain ayah which include Quran and which include glorification of Allah, like Ayat al-Kursi. You can read it. But there is no fix dua, no fix supplication for the tawaf. But you see how the people have spoiled the rites of Hajj. Then from Muzdalifah, of course in Muzdalifah the Prophet ﷺ rested, and then after Fajr prayer he waited for some time. He went to Mash'ar Haram and made long dua. That is a place where Allah listens to His servant and accepts their dua, their prayer. Then Prophet ﷺ from there he went to Mina, went to Jamra al-Aqaba, which is also considered which is also said to be big Jamra, Jamratul Kubra. He went there and threw 7 pebbles at it. With every pebble he said Allahu Akbar. Small pebbles like that. It is the symbol of shaitan, but it is not shaitan. That stone is not shaitan. But some people think that this is real shaitan, and in the past when the arms were allowed to be taken, a man went with a revolver and started shooting. They threw slippers, shoes, and they bring big stones to hit it. That is again, shaitan feels very happy. Shaitan feels very happy because the pilgrims who come from some far distance, they come to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they are making Him angry by violating the sunnah of His messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the people should be very, very careful. Some people shout even and abuse that. That again is very bad. Say Allahu Akbar, through Allahu Akbar, through an Allahu Akbar, and then through the second, the third, even 7. All these things should be done in peace and conforming with the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Now in Arafat, before moving from Arafat, I missed this point, he spoke to the people. He gave his sermon in Arafat. He gave two sermons, one in Arafat, one in Mina. So he spoke there, O people, listen to what I say. I do not know whether I will ever meet you at this place after this. See, this Prophet ﷺ realized that his life had come to an end. So he said, لَعَلِّي لَا أَلْقَاكُمْ بَعْدَ عَامِكُمْ هَذَا, that I am not sure that I will be able to meet you again at this place after this year. And then he said, إِنَّ دِمَاءَكُمْ وَأَمْوَالَكُمْ وَأَعْرَاضَكُمْ حَرَامٌ بَيْنَكُمْ كَحُرْمَةِ يَوْمِكُمْ هَذَا شَهْرِكُمْ هَذَا بَلَدِكُمْ هَذَا. Your property, your honors, and your blood, all are sacred to you, like the sacredness of this month. It is sacred month, sacredness of this month, this place, and this day, because this is Arafat day, very blessed day. The hadith tells us that the fasting of Arafat day will wipe out the sin of the previous year and the sin of coming year. That is the best nafil fasting throughout the year. There is nothing better than fasting on Arafat. So the Prophet said that your blood, your property, and your honor are sacred to everyone. Everyone's blood and property and honor is sacred to others, like the sacredness of this place, this day, this month. And also he warned, behold, all the practices of pre-Islamic period are now under my feet. They have been wiped. The blood revenge of days of ignorance are quashed. And the first kalima of blood I abolish is that of Rabi'ah ibn al-Haris, who was murdered in the tribe of Saad and killed by Huzail. The Prophet said that I quash it. Usually a pre-Islamic period is also abundant. And of course, and the first thing he said, I start by remitting is the interest which my uncle Abbas has to charge and had to receive. So now the awwal riba adawah riba al-Abbas ibn al-Muttalib. So he set a good example that the usury transaction is finished. Now there will be no more, and the first thing which I really abandon, it is the riba and usury transaction of Abbas ibn al-Muttalib. I cancel it entirely. O people, ittaqullah, be mindful of Allah concerning your women. Indeed, you have taken them with the trust of Allah and have intercourse with them with the words of Allah. Allah's word is recited. Remember, in the nikah marriage, in the aqd, 3 verses of the Quran are recited in khutbah. So the Prophet referred to that. You have rights over them, one of which is that you must not allow someone you dislike. You have right over them that they must not allow anyone whom you dislike to enter your house. If they do so, you have power to chastise them, but not severely. Their rights over you is that you provide them with food and dress within your ability. I have left behind for you something which if you hold fast, you will never go astray. The book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. O people, there will come no prophet after me, no community after your community. Worship your Lord perform 5 prayers, fast your month of Ramadan, pay zakat from your wealth willingly, and perform the pilgrimage. These are the pillars of Islam the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. And obey those who are in power, whom you have entrusted your affairs. You will be admitted paradise by your Lord if you do these things. You are going to be asked about me, he said. You are going to be asked about me. What are you going to say? The audience replied that we bear witness that you have conveyed the message and fulfilled your duty. Then Prophet raised his hand to Allah and said, Allahumma shahad, O Allah, be witness. The messenger completed his speech, and following verse of the Quran was revealed there. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam deena. That comes from chapter 5, ayah number 3. Allah says, this day I have perfected for you your religion, completed my favor upon you, and have chosen for you Islam as your religion. It was revealed in Arafat. After Arafat, the Prophet ﷺ performed, in Arafat, as we said earlier, in Arafat he performed Zohar and Asr together with one azan to Iqama and in shortened form, and then made a long supplication, putting his face to the side of Qibla. Facing Qibla, he made a long supplication, and then he moved toward Muzdalifah. He put Osama ibn Zayd. He liked him very much. He was given the title of Hibbi Rasulillah, the beloved of Rasulullah. This the same Zayd who was freed by Prophet ﷺ.
What was his name again?
Osama. So he put Osama behind him on his camel, and they moved to Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah he performed Maghrib and Isha with one azan to Iqama, as we said. And then he went moved towards him Al-Mash'arul Haram, and supplicated again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, declaring his greatness. Allahu Akbar. He remained there till it was clear morning. Then he made his way to Mina before the sun rose high. This time he put Fadl ibn Abbas with him on the camel. So he put Fadl ibn Abbas, his cousin, on his camel. He went to the Jamra, the big Jamra, Jamra al-Aqaba, and threw 7 pebbles, small ones, at it. With each one of them, he said, Allahu Akbar. Then he proceeded to the place of sacrifice. He slaughtered 63 camels by his own hand. Then he gave remaining 37 to Ali to slaughter. So all in all, he offered 100 camels. And then some of the meat was cooked, which he ate, and others also joined. After that, he shaved his hair. Then he moved to the sacred house and performed tawaf al-ifada. This tawaf is a rukn, an essential part of Hajj. There are 4 essential parts in Hajj. First is ihram, you put ihram. Second is tawaf, going around this tawaf ifada, which comes on 10th of Zil-Hijjah, and then sa'i, and then staying in Arafat. Staying in Arafat and this tawaf are very important. If a person misses Arafat, finish. But tawaf has period. Tawaf you can do on 10th, on 11th, 12th, 13th. So there is extension of period for tawaf. But Arafat only on 9th. Even if a person reaches Arafat, as ulama said, even after sunset, at any time he reaches Arafat, his Hajj is complete. He went to Zamzam, where the children of, the family of Banu Abdul Muttalib, he went to Zamzam, where Banu al-Muttalib were giving water to the people. He said that continue, go on, Banu Abdul Muttalib, give water to the people. If there was no fear that the people will crash with one another and deprive you from your duty, I would have joined you. So he left them to do the job, and he delivered another speech there in after on 10th of Zul-Hijjah. When he reached Mina, he spoke again, and he said, the time has gone back where it was, which Allah created, the day when He created the heavens and earth. The year is composed of 12 months only, 4 of which are sacred. Mina arbaatun hurum. 4 of them are secret, 3 of them in sequence, Zulqada, Zulhijjah and Muharram, and the 4th is Rajab, which is separate from them, which comes between, he is specified, which comes between Jumada and Shaban. And then he asked again, which month was this one? This is a detail, he spoke about the sacredness of the month and the day and so, but here the other version of the report speaks like that he asked the people, which month is it? They thought that, they kept quiet because they thought that maybe he is going to give it a new name. Then he said, isn't it Zulhijjah? They say yes. Then he asked what this city is called. Again they kept quiet, thinking that maybe the name is going to be changed. He said, is it not the Balda, Makkah? They said yes. Then he asked them which day is today. Again they kept quiet, and then he asked, is it not the day of sacrifice, Yawmun Nahr? They said yes. And then he spoke, your blood, your property and your honor are as sacred as this day, this month and this city. He went on, you are going to meet your Lord. He will ask you about your deeds. Do not be misguided after me killing one another. He then asked, have I delivered? They replied yes. He said, O Allah, be witness. Allahumma shahad. And then also he said that let him who is present convey it to him who is absent. It may be that the recipient of the message is more understanding of it than the one who heard it directly, and this is very good. That the teacher teaches something directly to one student and he goes to teach others. The one whom he taught may be more clever, more intelligent, more understanding than this man who got it directly from the teacher. In another version it is reported that he said, no one does wrong to another, but he bears the consequences of it. No one should do wrong to his son, nor should a son do wrong to his father. Beware of the Satan, because he had been despaired. He has been despaired forever of being worshipped in this city of yours, but he will be obeyed in things which are not very important. He will be satisfied with that. So be careful about Shaitan. The Prophet stayed for 3 days in Mina and threw 7 pebbles every day to all 3 Jamara, starting with the small one and ending with the big one. And after performing the farewell tawaf, he started his journey back to Makkah.